For the last few days, the internet has been on fire as it relates to Across the Spider-Verse, the new Miles Morales movie. Now, some might think that it's been on fire because of the box office success that has been seen with this movie, but that is not what I'm talking about. What I'm specifically talking about is what is erupting right now on Twitter. There are arguments, fights, and debates breaking out on Twitter right now as there is a contingent of people that believe that Spider-Gwen is actually a trans person. And they are citing a couple of reasons why they believe this to be true. First and foremost, they are looking at Spider-Gwen's uniform and saying that her uniform uses the colors of the trans flag, and that is part of why they believe that this character is trans. The other thing that they cite is a speech that she essentially gives when talking with her father, and I want to play a quick excerpt of that for you now.
I was trying so hard to wear this thing the way you would want, and I didn't. I can do all of these things, but I can't help the people I love the most, and they can only know half of who I am.
So in this monologue with her father, she basically cites the fact that she tried to wear the mask the way that he would want her to. And I personally see that as her saying, I know that you're a police officer, you have a standard, and I am trying to meet that standard in my own way by donning this costume. I personally think that that's what she's trying to say, much like Peter Parker has a standard that he holds himself to. With great power comes great responsibility. She goes on to talk about the fact that she has to hide part of who she is from the people that she loves. That being the fact that she's a superhero and her family doesn't know that. That is something that she actually has in common with a lot of superheroes that actually have secret identities. People out there believe that what she is basically saying is that she is hiding who she truly is, that being a trans individual. Which side is true? I honestly don't know. And if you've seen the movie and if you know a lot about this character, I definitely encourage you to sound off in the comment section. What I decided to do, because I don't have this deep knowledge and understanding of Gwen Stacy, is I wanted to go back to look at some of the interviews that have been conducted with the two creators that are responsible for this character, specifically Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. These are the two gentlemen that created this character back in 2014. At least that's when the character debuted. And I wanted to look at what it was that they thought about when setting out to create this character. And according to them, they were not attempting to make this character a political character in any way, shape, or form. They say that they set out to tell a good, fun story with a character who just happened to be a female. They literally say that they wanted to avoid pandering to any specific audience. Again, the goal was to create a good story, a fun story that happened to have a woman at the center of it. That was their objective. So I wanted to make sure that I offered that up. One of the other things that I want to throw out there is that the people that are attempting to take ownership of this character may want to take a moment to do a little bit of research into Jason Latour, the writer behind Spider-Gwen. He unfortunately has a track record, a history of sexual harassment against women. And this came to a head back in 2020 when there was a series of women that came forward that indicated that he tried to use his celebrity, his position in the industry to take advantage of them. So I felt like it was important to kind of mention that within the context of this character's history. Regardless of whether Spider-Gwen is trans or not, really doesn't matter. But what I will say is that Marvel potentially wants to stay away from this issue. If people have the ability to see in this character something that resonates with them, that is okay. That is one of the great things about superheroes, is that we have the ability to see ourselves in that character, even if we aren't necessarily perfectly aligned to who that character is. Like, I love Spider-Man. I am not Peter Parker, but I still connect with the character, and that is powerful. If people connect with Spider-Gwen on whatever level, allow that to exist. If Marvel decides to lean into this it might not go well for them, the same way that it hasn't gone well for so many other companies out there. Now, I am not saying that comics aren't political. Comics have always been political since the very beginning. So I'm not saying get politics, get cultural stuff out of comics. What I am saying is they don't have to lean into it. They can allow this to exist, but not necessarily endorse it, not necessarily come out and say, yes, this is true. Just allow it to be what it is. With that said, I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you want to sound off in the comments, feel free to do that. But what I will encourage you to do is to be respectful. This is a very tough topic. People have a lot of strong opinions on both sides. Comics should be fun. These are fictional characters. It is an animated movie. Let's keep it fun. If you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art? Or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master. The one that's more than a rapper. The one that's an educator. The one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts. He's got the mindset expansive. He understands that it's time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan. Straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms of pure souls having them conversations. Synergy and combinations. You fly and we waiting. Indian style in the gold.